welcome back to another player profile and projection. It's 2022. That's the year, that's the season. We are talking about Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Cruz Michael Stanton. Giancarlo Michael Cruz Stanton. I forget the order of events there. Nonetheless, you know who we're talking about. It's Giancarlo Stanton.
Okay, let the rhythm take you over, Giancarlo. Take Hierro.
Giancarlo. Remember when people were saying that?
Giancarlo Stanton, man, what a, holy smokes. I mean, I know he's become very popular around our parts, Jimmy, recently. You, me. I feel like whenever we see Joe's McFly, every time we talk about Big G, we end up falling more and more in love for his playoff performances, his personality. And it just feels like anything we've disliked about Giancarlo, except the one injury season, like it felt like weird Yankee funny business that was out of his control, the not playing defense and stuff like that. Big G has been, of last year, one of the more delightful players, including especially last playoffs, one of the more delightful playoffs of the past Yankees 170 games.
He's a monster.
Yes.
That's the main thing about him that people are forgetting about, is that he's just a monster. And his playoff performance was monstrous. And then a lot of people forget his name, and I was trying to help them out with that.
Which was huge.
Yeah.
That was important. Yeah, I remember, I think one of the kind of quieter Yankees offseason episodes randomly ended up on Big G's recent playoff stats, and they're just so disgustingly good. And Jim, I mean, the bigger thing here, there's obviously there's still a health thing a little bit. We'll see on all that. Spring training game the other day, Big G played right field. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
So
he's going to play a decent amount of the outfield this year. No one knows what that means.
What does that mean?
Can I tell you something that maybe you need to know?
Okay.
Yeah? You ready?
Yeah, dude.
How many players that qualified last season had a higher OPS than Stanton in all of baseball? Had a higher OPS than Stanton in all of baseball that qualified. So they had enough at-bats, enough games to win the batting title and be up for awards and all of that. If you're brand new to baseball, OPS is on base percentage plus slugging. So do you get on base? And when you do hit the ball, do you hit it hard and far?
Right. There will be a couple nerds that'll be mad we don't do OPS plus because that's stadium adjusted, boring. The point to this experiment, Jim, because we have looked this up, there are so few hitters that actually put that together for a full season that in both leagues, AL, NL, I would guess it's like 10 to 12.
A little more than that.
15 to 20.
Yeah, I think. 25.
Okay.
Well, actually 24. 24 players. But we're still like upper. That's a very good season.
Both leagues.
Both leagues. Oh, if I do with the AL?
Right.
And I do with the AL.
And he just does the AL. Giancarlo Stanton. Sorting. Okay.
I can't find the sort button for that.
Giancarlo's good.
But our whole point is he had an 870 OPS, and some people think like you have to have 900. It's like, wait, right. I mean, only 14 players had a 900 OPS. And would you like Stanton to be in the top 10? Obviously.
Yeah.
Top 25. Not bad.
Yeah. I mean, with the Yankees, he's been a 269, 353, 864 OPS. I think
top 10 in the AL. We did it.
Let's go.
We did it. 9th best OPS in the entire AL last year. So we remember his playoffs, right? And how good he was. It was just one game, but he was good. And down the stretch, he was really good. But his final numbers on the year, he had a 273 batting average.
Right.
We're desperate for that. to have a slugging in the 500s and also a batting average above 270, that's like gone away.
Yeah. He is streaky. I think that deserves to be noted. When Giancarlo looks bad, it does look really bad. He's got the unorthodox batting stance. When he's in a funk, it just feels like he's always guessing the wrong pitch, and the swings don't look bad, and he's taking pitches that you know he can demolish. That's almost part of what makes it frustrating. That being said, like, we're the New York Yankees, right? Like, we're this fan base that prides ourselves on, does the regular season even matter? His last 8 postseason games, he has 7 home runs, a 1.5 OPS. The dude has been lights out in the postseason. He basically tried to throw the team on his back, but the Green Monster stopped him in Boston. That was the only thing that could. He was 3 for 4. Big G, and he's one of the few guys that gives like a real press conference. Like, G responded when he was getting booed to, and he gave real answers there.
I'd boo me too.
Like, everything about him, I get, I feel like this is something we're running into now. We talked about kind of the redundancy behind the Yankees, like big right-handed slugging slow hitters. And I understand why that was frustrating. There was just too many of those guys in the lineup. Don't take that out on Stanton. Like, Stanton deserved to be in there. He's a stud. He's done it in October. Like, if the team had done more around Stanton in the recent playoff performances, like, we should be calling this man a superhero. But there's still some people that just don't respond to him. And hey, maybe this is the year he busts out a little more. If not, if he keeps doing what he's doing, that's still a really good ball player.
Yeah.
Real good.
He had one bad month last year. I was trying to look. I couldn't really remember. He had an OPS plus of 131 in April, 130 in May, 153 in June, 182 in August, 135 in September. So July was his bad month last year. Other than that, I mean, dude was awesome. He had a crazy good August. He was better away than at home. And he still mashes lefties. He actually was even last year. He beat righties and lefties the same, which is interesting because lefty relievers usually he crushes.
As we record this, he's 1 for 2 in spring training.
Wow.
So, like, I don't know exactly what you do with it, but
2021 exit velocity, where do you think he ranked?
I mean, first.
100th percentile.
Yeah.
It's kind of a dumb stat because he just hit the hardest ball. Hard hit percentage.
First.
100th percentile.
Yeah.
Average exit velo.
99th.
99th. Yes. Sprint speed.
I was there a second ago. Wasn't it like 19th or something?
13th.
Okay. Well, and again, where I think this conversation leads back to is the outfield DH discussion. Last year, 108 games at DH, 10 games in left field, 16 games in right field. It's a small sample size, I will be honest. His numbers when he was playing the outfield are significantly better. It very much feels like the Yankees have been living in fear of Stanton's big contract and him getting hurt. When Stan played in the outfield last year, 10 games in left, he had a 1.0 OPS. In 16 games in right, he had a 968 OPS. Guess what? Like, I know there's a lot of science and stuff around baseball. I think anyone that's ever played the game, DHing is really hard. Kind of ignored part of like how good Big Papi truly was. DHing's tough. You get 4 at-bats and then you sit around the whole time. When you play defense and you're involved in every play, you're looser, you're active, you're ready to go. Stanton's talked about it. He likes playing the field. I don't know how much he's going to play the field. And again, going back to DH, it's not like he was bad there. But this guy can play outfield, especially with how many injuries have been around this team in the past couple years. I can't have them be shy to put him in the outfield. He's a very fine DH. But if it's needed that he's in the outfield, do it.
I agree. I agree with you, Jake.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
He crushes fastballs, just to let you know. 579 slugging against fastballs last season. 579.
That's good.
Consistently has the hardest hit balls in baseball. That's kind of,
every year.
It's good to hit the ball hard. I know it can be an empty stat. A lot of times, like in Gary Sanchez's case, it was a very empty stat.
Right.
In Stanton, it's kind of not because he hits the ball so hard that like he has infield singles that just because like it gets past the defender so quick.
Scary to be the third base coach. That's something to watch out for. New third base coach this year.
Who is the new third base coach this year?
I mean, it's going to be scared of Stanton. Yankees 3B coach.
Is it the dude from the Mets or is he the bench
Luis
coach?
Rojas.
He's the third base coach?
Yep. So, watch
Got
out.
my eyes on him.
Watch out, dude. I just saw the projections. I mean, what else do we need to talk about with Stanton?
Health, obviously. Hopefully he can stay healthy for the full year like he did last year. And they can play him a little more. Where he is in the lineup, I would like him in the top 3. I get what you're saying about 4. I don't need him in the top 3. I just think if he's on a heater,
right,
I would like to see them move him into the 3. Like you said, he can be streaky. He can go in like crazy bunches of power. And when he's on that stretch, I'd like it if the Yankees were a little more flexible. Like, let's get him in the top 3. No one wants to see that. It's like when Schwarber hit 16 home runs in 18 games last year.
Right.
Where was he doing it from? The leadoff spot. What did the pitcher not want to see? Fucking Schwarber leading off, hitting home runs. So I don't want Stanton leading off, but I'd like to like the Yankees have, I don't know, 3 or 4. He should never be more than 4, obviously. But if he's as scary as he can be, like let's get him in that.
When he's right, it's awesome, and that's the I have him as 4th in my Yankee lineup if everything else is right. How often does that happen on a baseball team? It's very rare. It's very rare that DJ, Rizzo, and Judge would be clicking enough to be able to put Stan in the 4 hole. That's just being honest. I'm not as scared of him and Judge back-to-back as I used to be. Because, again, it does tie into the what don't you want to see. So if those guys ever slide up the lineup, like, good. Bless up,
Bless up? I know that's a saying. What is it? I don't think you used it.
No.
Correctly.
Definitely not.
Okay, cool. I have the stats here.
Yeah.
For you. Are you excited?
The projections?
No, not the projections, the hard hit stats.
Okay.
So exit velocity, 115 miles per hour. 4 players had double-digit balls in play, exit velo, over 115. Ohtani had 10, so he just makes the cut. Judge had 16. Vladdy Jr., he had 21. Stanton had 40.
Yeah.
He had double second place. And now if you are like, but what if I don't care, blah, 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 that type of person, I just looked up the spray chart, and it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them were outs. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 were home runs. So he makes it worthwhile. I mean, he hits the ball so hard. He's reinvented the game.
He plays almost a different sport with that batting stance. And yeah, I mean, there's a heavy correlation towards hard hit balls and more hits.
He's the only player to have exit velo of over 120 last year, and he did it 6 times.
Yeah. He's different.
Single, double play, ground out, single. So when he gets it on the ground,
yeah, it's
going. What do they have as projections at?
You're not going to like them.
Oh, well, they're always conservative.
So this is a 74% reliability.
Okay.
515 plate appearances, 25 home runs, 260 batting average, 345 on base, .471 slug, and .816 OPS. That's too low.
I don't like those.
I wouldn't take that.
I would take the over on all of that.
Yes. I mean, his lowest ever slugging.
That would be his worst season.
Easily his worst season.
That would be his worst. They're projecting him to have his worst season. I mean, it's just a computer algorithm, and they are very conservative. Yeah, I'd take the over on all of that. Which one upsets you the most?
For me, it's the slugging because it's never been there. Like, it's never been there. So, like, to project that is just bad computer. Bad computer.
Bad.
Naughty. Which one makes you the most mad?
The homers? Has he ever had less than 30 homers if he gets more than 500 plate appearances?
No.
2013.
2013 as a 23-year-old.
Yeah. All of that's low. What number are you judging? What's the first number you look at? I mean, obviously I like OPS. I like OPS plus. There's no lie there.
Right.
In 2020, in a smaller sample, he had a higher OPS and a higher OPS plus, a much higher on base percentage, but a lower batting average, 250. I would take the higher batting average if we're like in the same ballpark of like OPS.
Right.
Like I would take 270 over 250 because he's streaky, like you're saying, and I'd like him to be a threat constantly, even if he's not hitting homers, just like rocketing ground balls, like putting balls in play. And then games played in the outfield is another huge number I'm going to look at.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for G, I think it does come down to games played. I know you were on that for Rizzo, but for me, that's just so important for Stanton. I mean, it's kind of what we're saying, and it's why those projections are low. Every year that Stanton's out there for a $120 plus games, the numbers are big. The guy's a threat. He's a monster. He's an absolute monster.
For Rizzo, I was excited. I was looking at that number, but not for Rizzo, for the Yankees.
Right.
Because the Yankees need a first baseman to do that. For Stanton, it's for him. Like,
because that's the thing. I mean, Stanton, we look at a lot of baseball reference pages. It's hard to be so good at baseball. This guy's a future Hall of Famer. Like, he doesn't have, you don't see one season where it's like, oh, yeah, he finished with a 99 OPS plus. Like, Giancarlo Stanton can't do that. He is at a different level. He is one of the few guys in the league that if there was a league above Major League Baseball, he would be in it. He would be in it. So, yeah, man, I just need him out there. I think everything else sorts itself out, whether it's streaky, whether it's more consistent. Like you said, looking back at last year, it's more consistent than you would thought for Stanton, that it really starts tying into the outfield. And you know what? You're really not going to like this because it's obviously it's a flawed thing.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want Stan to be an all-star next year.
Oh, yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I want him to get voted and not go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
He's still an all-star then.
Okay.
He deserves it.
Maybe he'd like to go because it's L.A.
I think he's going to go. He's one of the stars of baseball. He might be going to L.A. anyways for that time period. So I want Stan
I'd like him to go
all-star.
home to L.A. and not go to the All-Star game. Show
What
up
if
in
he
street
goes
clothes.
to the All-Star game?
Show up in street clothes.
Yeah, attends.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's there for the Derby, but he doesn't play.
Maybe watches from a tree branch.
He doesn't have to do that. Have to be a big tree.
You'd be interested if he did it.
I would.
Zach, we're going to show a random video. Do you know how to put this on the screen? Okay. Now it's time to show the random video, which will depict his entire season. Jake, here we go. It is...
And they have another series to go against Miami.
A hell of a take on a two-strike pitch.
High
ball
fastball
up.
at the eyes.
Yeah, real good take. So that's
It's a good omen.
Way to go.
The OBP probably goes up this year.
Oh, you think so? Bet on that.
Bet on that.
Top that. All right, that was Giancarlo Stanton's PPP, brought to you by the Warehouse Games YouTube channel. We still have to do Max's over under. Do we have access to that?
Max's over under.
Max's over under.
Jimmy, Max's over under is 49.5 starts in the field. Last year, I believe he had 26.
I'm actually taking the over.
Okay.
For them to play him first day of spring, he's going to get a decent amount. But the DH is open now. Without Gary, without Voit. 49.5.
49.5 starts in the field.
Over.
Okay.
I'm dreaming.
Happy for you. I think I'm going under. If I could get 40, I think I'm stoked. And kind of the other end of what you're saying, the DH spot, like, is his. Over. Like, Judge should be playing right field.
Hear me out.
Rizzo should be playing first base. Over. I hear it.
Glaber and DJ.
Yeah. Those guys shouldn't really be DHing. So, I'll go under. But give me 42 for Mo.
Judge to center, Gallo to right.